Fungal.
Hey!
Oh,
What's... We didn't even start the show. The first word out of his mouth is fungul. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of Live from My Mother's Basement with yours truly, comedian Mike Marino. I got an incredible special guest on my show today. In fact, I think this might even be my first podcast that I'm doing with a celebrity who's actually in the sports world. I never had a sports figure on my show yet. We are in a great undisclosed location in an area called New Hope, Pennsylvania, in somebody's house. I don't even know who it is, but ladies and gentlemen, please say hello to Bernie Parent. That's right, the crowd is going crazy right now.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody at home, for cheering like that. We can't hear you. But first of all, thank you so much for saying okay to come on the show. I appreciate that.
well, thanks for asking me.
Yes.
This is beautiful.
It's
You're a
really
beautiful human being.
I love that.
Yes.
You just called me a beautiful human being. You think he's mistaken me for my brother. Anyhow, we was doing a show here in New Hope, Pennsylvania last night. Whenever you guys are actually watching this show, because we don't know when this is going to air. And I asked some friends who are connected to you if I could get you on my podcast. He agreed to come on the show, and I'm so happy that you're here because, like I said, this is the first sports figure that I actually am having on my show. I usually have, some entertainers, actors. Well, you're an entertainer, too. This guy makes me laugh constantly. I think he was funnier this morning when I came than I ever was in my entire life. He's just full of energy. But what I like to do is I like to rewind. I mean, of course, I went on Wikipedia. I know everything I need to know about you for today's podcast. You got one unbelievable career. And I have some things that I brought with me today that are memorabilia from my life as a kid. Because we talked about full circle in life. And I'm going to show everybody what that is, especially our friends that are in the room watching this podcast, because it's almost shocking that I have it, and I have it because I just was a collector my whole life, so I hold on to memorabilia, and I actually have some of your memorabilia from when I was a little kid. Isn't that amazing?
That's amazing. And I want to begin with, I want to show people, I want to share this with you. When I was a kid, okay, and I've shared this with a lot of people, when I was a kid, I wanted to play National Hockey League, okay? And I wanted to play National Hockey League. People laugh at me. I was living in Montreal. They laugh at me in French, but they laugh.
Well, wait a minute. What does a Frenchman sound like laughing? Is it that much different than an American?
Oh, yeah, sure.
How do they laugh?
But, but anyway, so they kept saying to me when I turned 16, 17, I got drafted by the Bruins, Boston Bruins, and they kept saying to me, don't go over there, just stick around, find a job like we do, and everything will be fine. So I'm sharing this with people today because younger people, criticism will come. When you have a passion, push them aside and go towards your passion. And that's what I did, and today I shared this with people here. 2 Stanley Cup rings, 1974 and 75.
It's unbelievable.
It's incredible. So it's something for younger people or even older people, different times, in your life, you have a passion. The word is passion, You have a passion for something, go for it. Because life is fun when you live your passion.
Yeah, you ain't kidding. So how old were you when you actually thought, you know what, hockey's my future. This is what I want to do. Were you playing in I don't know, what is somebody starting grammar school, junior high, high school?
Well, one thing before I tell you how old I was, you're too old to get going. To start playing hockey. Here's a good story. I was 13 years old, and I was living in Montreal at the time, and I wanted to be a defenseman. Okay, so I'm the youngest of 7 kids, so we only had one pair of skates to begin with. The skates were too big for me anyway. So you had to go, in those days we had ice outdoor ice, right, for the whole winter. You had to go around the rink once, and depending on your speed, then the coach would give you a position on the team. Most of the guys did theirs in 14, 15, 16 seconds. Now it came my turn. Wow. Okay, so I stepped on the ice, and I went around the rink in 22 seconds. So the coach said, goaltender.
Is that really true? They actually test your speed to decide what position you could play on a team?
Definitely. Sure. If you're fairly fast, then you'd be a good forward. And if you're just in between, a little bit slower, you could make a good defenseman. Yeah.
So if your speed wasn't fast enough, they decided you'd be a good goalie, or you wanted to be the goalie?
I wanted to be a goalie.
No matter what.
Yeah, and got turned down, of course. So, and the coach lived in our neighborhood, right? And we used to play hockey in the street, and the ice remained in those days in the street for the whole winter. So I put the skates on and start playing goal, da-da-da-da. And the coach would watch us once in a while. And 5 weeks later, think about this, 5 weeks later, his goaltender got hurt. So he came up to me and said, hey, I've been watching you play. He said, you want to give it one more chance? Sure, why not? We won the game 4-2, and bingo, I was on my way. So when the opportunity knocks, go for it. And
Right.
beautiful things will happen.
But goalie was something you wanted.
Yeah.
At any position on the team.
Well, I wanted because Jacques Plante, who played for Montreal in those days, Montreal Canadiens, one of the best, probably in my estimation, best goalie ever played National Hockey League, played for Montreal Canadiens, and his sister lived next door to us. How about that? So every summer, he would come down with a big car, convertible, all right, cowboy hat, get off of the car, had a cigar, and walk towards his sister's house. And I'm watching through, the window of the kitchen, and I'm shaking, I'm looking at Jacques Plante, right? And it was incredible. And it's funny, having said that, in 1970, 60, I played 74, 75, 75, 76, about 78, I got traded from the Flyers to Toronto, okay? And Plante was playing for Toronto at the time.
Oh, no kid.
Yeah, so I got there, and we shared the duties, okay?
Right.
And finally, I asked him, I said, Jacques, I said, can you teach me? He said, of course. And I learned, I became a much better goalie. Now, quickly, 2 years later, the World Hockey League came in to challenge the National Hockey League. So I received a phone call, and they said, would you like to join us? So let me think about it. I knew what I had learned from Plante, and if it didn't work out, I could always go back to the National Hockey League. It didn't work out. We played in front of 500 people, which I was accustomed to 20,000. Which elevates your game.
Of course it does. I'm sure the sound of the crowd makes you go crazy.
So I came back, and the rule, like I said, I had to go back to Toronto. And think about this now. 3 weeks later, Toronto traded me back to the Flyers. And then the following 2 years, we won 2 Stanley Cups. Now, I'm sharing this, with younger people. Whatever your goal, say yes to life. Take the chance, take the risk, be a risk taker. Say yes to life, and beautiful things will happen.
Well, let me ask you this question. So when you're younger and you're in high school, and because I'm from New Jersey, the only time we really played hockey would be in the dead of the winter. If we could find ice, if it was formed because a puddle was out there, and we usually just played in the street with the ball and the puck. And the big thing at that time was maybe watching the Rangers, and of course Philadelphia. And I got to tell you the truth because I'm from New Jersey now.
What's going on? Yeah. Okay.
But we were kind of playing basically to have fun. You took it seriously.
Yeah.
So I always would wonder, and I want to ask you, what, it's all the positions that you can actually play. You wanted that position of goalie. Because in my mind...
Can I correct you a second? That's the only position I could play.
Is that right?
Yeah, I couldn't skate.
So what'd you do, play in your boots? It really comes down to that?
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you
yeah.
wanted to be on a hockey team so badly that you said, okay,
Yep.
if I have to, I'll do the goalie position.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Making eventually becoming a famous goalie and being famous for being the goalie.
Well, it's funny. It's funny what, what, when you visualize something, and I repeat myself a lot because it's important for younger people, even older people. You wanna get excited in your life, and instead of walking around for me, have something, a passion about something, and then your whole body reacts to it, and you start feeling better already. It's very important. So as a kid, it was my goal. It was my goal to play National Hockey League, and I was willing to do anything.
But from such a young age, do you have to go to college to become on a pro team?
Well, I remember when I just got started. I was 13. The teacher called my mom and me to the school, right, to have a meeting. And I'll never forget, the teacher looked at my mom and he said, pointed at me like this, and he said, you'll never do anything in this life.
Really?
Yeah. So I'll never forget that. Yeah, I never forgot that.
What would the reason be to say that?
Well, because I didn't study, I didn't do homework and all that stuff, my mind was on hockey. I would go home after school was over with and put the pads on and play with, hockey and the whole bit. That was my purpose. But I saw him in 1976 after we won the first cup. And I said, how you doing, buddy?
How you doing?
Yeah.
Nothing like teaching somebody a lesson that's supposed to be teaching you a lesson.
Yeah, there you go.
That's great.
Yeah.
The old comeback story, and you shove it in his face too. Did you let him try one on?
No, he would probably run with the thing. Yeah.
Isn't that something where we all have to take a beating before we have to bring the beat back their way?
Yeah.
It really sucks that it has to happen that way. Or maybe it is a good thing. I don't know, because I had that happen to me when I was a kid. When I was in high school, all I ever wanted to be was an actor. I just wanted to be in the entertainment business. You could not change my mind. My family's not in show business. I didn't know anybody in show business. And when I was about 16 years old, I had an agent in New York City say to me, "You're never going to work in this business. You sound like a dummy from New Jersey. That accent's too thick. You're never going to get a job." I went home crying. I told my family, I guess I'll work for Daddy's construction company because I sound like a moron from New Jersey. And then I had a friend who was going on a commercial audition in New York City for a TV commercial for United Airlines. He says, "Why don't you crash the audition?" So I went in there. Long story short, I booked that commercial. They shaved my head. I had to play a Marine coming home from boot camp. 3 months later, it aired, and they paid a 17-year-old kid $40,000. It became the #1 ad campaign for 5 years. I was nominated for a Clio, Best Male Performer in a TV commercial, and the agency that lady worked for got rid of her and signed me for 5 years. I don't know why people have to start off with kicking you in the nuts, and then you have to make a comeback, and then you do, and they don't even say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake," or "Good for you, hey, I don't know what I was thinking." So you experience, I experienced the same issue.
Same thing.
Yeah.
You went towards your passion, and the people will say, "What do you mean by passion?" They'll ask that question, and I said, passion is, think about this as something that you really wanted to do it. There's nothing exists except your passion, and when it happens, just like you, just like me, the whole thing develops. The right people will come to your life, and then beautiful things happen.
Well, you say you have 7 brothers and sisters?
I have 6.
6. Okay,
7.
You're 7. Were they in the business? Did they want to play hockey? Were you the only one?
I watched them skate. Thank God they didn't want to do it. Yeah, but
They were slower than you, huh? There's no other positions.
2 brothers and 4 sisters.
Right. Oh, okay.
So, but the boys, the one brother, Jacques, I call him Jake, but Jacques, coached me when I was a kid, outdoor rink in Montreal, and that was awesome. And the other brother, Ivan, was the psychiatrist. That helped me a lot.
Yeah. Who's your doctor? My brother. Every time I go see him, he tells me, "You're nuts," and I feel so much better. You're really nuts. Why am I nuts? Well, because you have a puck coming at your head at 90 miles an hour.
Bobby Hall. I remember my first game. And then, think about this, when you believe in what you want to do it. And when I turned professional with the Bruins, so they had Jerry Cheevers, people could relate to him, and Ed Johnston. So they sent me to the minors to Oklahoma, right? But my mind was constantly, I was performing, what I was supposed to do, but my mind was always National Hockey League, always National Hockey League. Think about this number. Again, 5 weeks later, the 2 goalies got hurt. So they called me up, and the first game was against Chicago. In Chicago, 24,000 people step on the ice, the sound and the whole bit. And then they had Bobby Hall, Stan Mikita, and the whole bit. And I remember Bobby Hall shooting the puck at 120 miles an hour. Okay, and I said, Lord, he would come down across the blue line with big smile, big shoulders, curved blade. It would wind up,
You could see his face?
Oh, yeah. Right here. His face was right here. And he would wind up and shoot. And I said, Lord, it's either let him miss the net or let him score. Don't let him hit me.
Don't let him hit me. I could just imagine sitting there. Hey, listen, pal.
Yeah.
I'm going to step to the side. Have at it. Don't hit me.
Yeah. Oh, God.
I forgot my cup this morning. Please, go for the corner.
That's one guy that I never had a defenseman would get down to their knees right to stop their shot. The all would disappear.
Oh, really? And leave it up to you.
Well, 120 miles an hour. Come on.
Did you say to your defenseman, guys, I thought we were friends. Could you help out a little?
No, not in that situation. You're not friends, man.
So this is a good time to ask the question, because I was saying to myself, okay, I want to ask some really bald-faced questions. Why would you want to do that? And when you know that puck is coming at you, and I guess in maybe a breakaway situation when that player's coming that fast and he's ready to slap that puck, and you have to defend that goal.
No,
doesn't that takes we don't get too nasty, but balls of steel.
I still have them, yeah.
I knew it. We'll be right back after this commercial break from Ball Steel.
Yeah. No, but I mean, kidding aside, my approach was always to challenge a shooter. I had learned this from Plant, and in those days I had to be getting the mask, the pretzel mask. They called it. Plant came up with the mask, Jacques Plant. So I was wearing a mask, and you know what? You're 20 years old. You know what? You have no fear. Come on, baby. 120, 140. Let's do it. And you challenge a shooter, and that's what it's all about, And you have no fear. And
so you could see his eyes.
Yeah.
You could see them coming. This is also at a time where a lot of guys weren't wearing helmets.
Yeah.
Playing hockey. Now it seems like I guess you have to wear a helmet.
Yeah.
Is that the law in the game now?
Yeah.
But you had a mask on.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone's coming at you like that and they're getting ready to take that shot, how do you know whether to just stay in the net or come down and break it up, come out? How far out would you even come?
Just outside of the my philosophy, you come out enough, like a foot in front of the crease. Okay, so the only place he could shoot was it's either on the left hand side or right hand side. Not directly at me. On each side. Plus, at 20 years old, you have no fear.
Right.
You just challenge your shooters. And
It's amazing. I'm in my head visualizing, coming out and trying to break down that angle and trying to confuse him, and hopefully that when he takes the shot, he misses, and there's nobody on the other side going to sneak it in.
but having said, it's a good point that you just made. But at the same time, you don't think about it. You think about the game itself, making the save, and you're looking at winning the hockey game. We tied the game 2-2 that night. How about this? Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot of games I'm going to want to cover, but now that I'm on this subject, I have to ask the question too. I mean, did you ever get run over and start and fight and get in the game, drop the gloves?
Oh,
Never seems like the goalies really get in the mix that much.
Well, I did a couple of times, and look at this face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Looked like you defended yourself pretty well. You're a very handsome guy. Remember, you had the mask on.
You're too kind, but we talk about individual here as a goalie, but also let's not forget you're part of a team. You have defensemen, you have forwards, you have coaches. Beautiful, beautiful fans. Which I was fortunate in Philly. Had the defense, which was just incredible, and that's what you become. So it's not one instant, that am I doing this right, or am I, do I have fear or whatever? You're part of a team, you're part of an organization, and you're there to help the team win the hockey game. That's
what actually is the fighting law, rules of fighting in hockey? Because, supposedly at one time there was a lot of players who played specifically to get into a fight, either that or it was a rumor to take out another player that was supposedly too good to put him in the penalty box. Is there any truth to any of that?
Well, maybe to play, I don't know. I think you will have some fights, to set up the momentum for the team. Not as much as I think the great players were respected more than anything else. They get body checks or whatever. But as far as fighting, it was more our tough guy against their tough guys.
Right. But what is actually the law of fighting? You could fight until you fall on the ground.
The law is hit him first.
And then skate away. Unless you're a slow skater like a goalie. No, because when we watch, when everybody would watch at home, you would see the camera back up and you knew that there was a fight going to happen. And I guess the gloves would go down and the refs would stay around it and watch the fight until a certain moment where they would stop it. So what was that?
Well,
when they fell on the ice,
no, but you want to establish one good fight will establish to your team against the other team that you're in for some action and you're serious about winning the game. It's very very important. Or something else, if you're forward, I'm a forward, a defenseman, and you give a cheap shot to one of our players, then understand that we're a family, okay? We're not just a bunch of hockey players playing hockey on the ice. We're a family, okay? And that's how you win. In life, that's how you win as a family.
Right, yeah. No, I agree.
So we're on the same team, somebody gives you a cheap shot, that guy knew he had a price to pay for it. Yeah.
So you went and got him.
Yeah. So.
Since it's fun to watch. I
Yeah.
think any audience gets excited when you're going to say, okay, here comes so-and-so. He's known for doing this. There goes the gloves. Here comes the fight. They're going to get thrown in the penalty box. It just always made me wonder, when did they stop the two from fighting? I could have sworn there was some kind of thing where if one guy fell, that was it. You couldn't fight anymore. You had to get back up, and then you would go do whatever you had to do in the penalty box.
Yeah, the only thing you weren't allowed to do is kick him when he's on the ice,
Yeah.
So you hit him, you hit him, and you know what? And we have our team. We have a lot of good fighters, but Schultz was the big name, big fighter, and every time he was on the ice, players paid attention to him. He was a big part of our success. That's for sure. Good guy. Good individual, but once you got him on the ice, then it was a different person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Made me think, what if there was like an Italian hockey player and they got in a fight and he just took off his shoe and threw it at the other guy?
Yeah. Well, that's
You son of a bitch.
It must have been the goalie.
Must have been the goalie. You were talking about the mask. Now, I remember when we were little kids and we would play street hockey. You had the ball or you had a puck. Maybe 3 guys on one team, 3 guys on another team. We found the pads in the garbage. You would get somebody's old couch and rip it up, and that became your knee pads, and we would duct tape it to the player, which means you were the goalie for the whole day because you can't get it off until the day's over.
Mm-hmm.
And then you'd find a baseball glove to be just a glove, which is a regular glove. And we really didn't have a mask. It was do or die. Where were you going to get it? A bunch of street kids poured, and you had to wait for the cars to go away. But that's the way we would play and try to teach ourselves any of this. But most of the time, you added a 3, nobody wanted to be the goalie because you knew you were going to get hurt.
Yeah, but the old story, you have to be crazy to be a goalie.
All right, we finally got him to say it. He's crazy.
I figure you waited long enough, so I figured I'll come out with it. But no, you know what? It's one position where you really have to be into it, because if you're forward, the defenseman, you're always in movement with the puck or whatever, the ball in that instant here, and you're constantly moving, passing, or whatever, defending. But in goal, you're standing in front of your net, But it's a special gift that you have as a goalie to concentrate on what's going on in front and to help you to make the right move at the right time.
Did you ever, when you're playing, I've been to a lot of games, and when we would sit behind the goalie, you can hear people scream out stuff, and maybe there were people from the opposing team on this side, and they'd say crazy things, and you'd see the goalie turn around and maybe yell something back out at the fans. That situation happened to you?
Well, it happened, but I never reacted that way.
No?
No, the more criticism I received on the road, not at home now, on the road, it made me pumped,
Yes.
way better.
Yeah.
Let me show them, right? And that was, I never shared that with too many people, but that was the advantage that I had. The more you're criticizing me, you're yelling at me, the better I'm going to perform.
Right. So I understand that. So when you have people in the stands and they start yelling out stupid shit, makes you want to play even harder.
As a matter of fact, that one guy I remember in New York had good seats not far from the bench, the Rangers, and I swear the guys look just like you, man. Yeah.
I'm a Ranger. I just remember when we were little kids, everybody wanted to watch it on television because you couldn't afford to go watch it, and it wasn't too far away. I lived 20 minutes outside of Madison Square Garden. There was a lot of players, and everybody wanted to play hockey, but we had no choice but to just play street hockey with your sneakers and whatever pad you could find. And most of the time, we ended up just beating the crap out of each other. But for some reason or other, I had kept the shirts that we used to wear, and I remember the first time you came to see me perform, I brought that shirt, but I brought it again today because now I'm going to get my autograph on this particular shirt, and I know we got your shirt, the real one, standing right there, which looks gorgeous. Yeah.
Your shirt, if you want me to sign, keep this in mind. Maybe it's worth it more now than after I sign it, so you keep that in mind.
All right, we'll sign a piece of paper, we'll keep it near the shirt just in case, but I mean, I'm talking about being a little kid playing hockey in the street, and I don't know how many kids actually kept their shirts, but this is it. And you're looking at a shirt I wore when I was about 8 or 9 years old. Isn't that incredible?
Wow.
And I got it. There's no name on it.
Can I show people
yes,
something?
Yes, please. Yeah.
Look, folks, you have this shirt here, right? Okay? Do you see any marks of the puck hitting that shirt? I don't.
I wasn't the goalie. Oh, that's hilarious. Still smells like mothballs. But could you imagine, it was just so little of a kid, and this is what we would wear to play in the streets, and of course there was whoever was on the team, you would pretend that you were him, and I have some other shirts, from your rival teams. But we would get the numbers, and I don't remember who was 14, but I think there was some Walt Kachuk and names I can hardly even remember.
I say
how little they are.
My two favorite players on that team, the Rangers, was Ed Jacquemin, the goalie, okay, and Roger Bear.
Roger Bear.
He just passed away.
Is that right?
Just a great individual, awesome all-star player from Montreal, by the way. You know, and those two guys were incredible. Remember, I have to share a story with you. I was playing for Toronto at the time. We're playing in New York, and there's 2 minutes left in the game, okay? And we're winning 2-1. We had a good goalie, you know. But anyway, the 2-1, right? And and a big brawl broke up, right? Inside of their blue line with 2 minutes left. So all the bench emptied, you know, start fighting, and I skated. And Ed Jacquemin, we've been friends for years and years and years. You know, a great individual. Grabbed me by the neck, and I said, Eddie, I can't breathe. Oh, good, let me squeeze more, you know. And then, 2-3 minutes later, Hatfield came around, took my mask, threw him in the stand. True story. So the mask disappeared. So now the fight was over, and the coach, you know, for Toronto, I went back to the bench. He called Pepsi. He called me Pepsi, right? Say, hey, Pepsi, get back and go. I said, I can't. I lost my mask. He said, no kidding. So Plant was, we shared the duties in Toronto. Plant had to finish the game, and we won the game 2-1. Now, the beauty about the story is the next day. Think about this. I'll never forget this. 8 o'clock in the morning, somebody knocks at the door. So I open the door. A gentleman with a little kid, about 12-year-old kid. And the kid looked at me and he said, Mr. Perrin, he said, I'm a goaltender. And I watched a game last night. You lost your mask. So you could use mine if you want.
Oh, wow.
And that awesome, gives me the goosebumps.
Yeah.
So I called the office, Toronto, the office, and I said, I told them the story. I said, we need 2 good seats for those guys.
Yeah.
And we got them 2 good seats. Isn't it great, that little kid?
It is. Did you keep his mask?
No.
You autograph it and hand it back?
Bingo, yeah.
Did you ever find the mask that got lost that night?
Yeah, it came back. And this one guy called me from, I think it was from Toronto, called me and said, I have your mask that went in the stands. I said, Billy, let me ask you a question. What did you pay for? He said, about $40,000. Billy, my God. I said, you should have offered me this before I lost the mask, you know? $40,000. I said, Billy. I said, well, you have to come to Philly for me to sign it. He said, good. I'll get on the plane and I'll be there a certain time, right? So he came in and picked him up, and we stopped this one place, and I told the guy, I said, by the way, I said, $5,000 right here.
Commission.
Yeah. So he said, all right. So I'm looking at the mask, and I'm watching his face at the same time. Sweat's pouring because I'm not making any decision, right? I'm like this, like hesitant, you know. You just spent $40,000 on this thing. Finally, I looked at him and said, that's a mask. Yeah. So I signed it, and that was it. Yeah, we got it done.
Wow.
Great story.
So how did he actually got the mask from? It was thrown out into the crowd.
I'm not sure. He did. He bought the mask. I'm not sure who he bought the mask from, but that's what he paid them. Yeah.
Holy mackerel!
Isn't it something? Yeah.
$40,000 for the mask. So if you autograph this shirt, I should get at least $10,000.
Well,
I'm only kidding.
No. If your name would be on it, it'd be about $5.
$5 at a garage sale. But I never sold that shirt, and I'm keeping it.
Yeah, that's
wow,
right.
$40,000 a mask.
Yeah.
Too bad after all this time you can't actually find where that mask is. Probably
That's-
tripled in
what?
value.
Where it's at now. It's supposed to be there. That's my philosophy in life.
Okay, but you said in this fight the one guy was choking you, and he's a friend of yours.
Oh yeah, I mean choking me in a nice way.
Oh, in a nice way.
And he was laughing and the whole bit.
Yeah, I've always been choked in a very loving way. How do you get choked? Bernie, is that you? Yeah, it's me. It's me. Is this tight enough?
Oh, God.
How do we look for the pitches?
Oh, that was fun. Good stories. Yeah.
It's great stories, and I'm sure there's great pictures of all of that footage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Footage from a long time ago that they can watch on the internet now.
Yeah.
In fact, where are you on the internet? I know you got a lot of memorabilia, so let's show everybody what they can get on the internet that belongs to you and your memorabilia. I love all of this stuff. I love collecting stuff. What is your websites and where they can find you on the internet?
The
BernieParent.com.
.com.
So parent is how you say it in French here in the United
Parent.
States. I would have said
Parent.
parent.
Parent. French. Parent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
French.
The French is good, man.
Only the Lord saves more than Bernie Parent. How cool is that?
And you know what? I want to share something with
Sure.
the folks. Look, folks, only the Lord sees more than Bernie Parent. And you know what? He reminds me quite a few times. Yeah.
Oh, hey.
Yeah.
God bless you, my brother.
Yeah.
Let's show a few more of these things. I love these bumper stickers. Only the Lord saves more. Here's another one. This one's autographed.
Yeah.
So for $40,000, go to MikeMarino.net and I'll get you a few of these. Can you lose a few of these?
Yeah. There you go. Yeah.
I want to collect some swag too. There's some great swag here. This is nice quality shirts too. Bernie, only the Lord saves more. What a great saying. And of course, can you tell us a little bit about that nice, big, beautiful poster that's in that frame?
Well, this is a Jeannie, my beautiful wife, organized this, and if you look at the bottom on the left hand side,
That's your mask.
the other side with the picture with
Yeah.
the fog in. That was the game against Buffalo in the finals, the fog game they call.
Why was it foggy?
Because it was so warm outside and the building wasn't prepared for this type of weather. So we had to stop every 5 minutes, and the players would have sheets, right, and skate around the ice and got the fog up in the air so we could play another five minutes, and then we had to do this again.
Is that right?
Yeah, and I remember the winning goal.
The fog game?
The winning.
How do you even see the puck coming at your head?
Well-
It comes out like a surprise. Boom.
Boom, yeah. But
Who hit it?
But the winning goal, for example, the winning goal, you could only see from the waist up. And Perot came in across the red line and shot the puck to the corner on the left hand side. And I heard it here, and heard the board. And then when it came back, how Robert saw the puck, I have no clue. He took one shot, and I didn't even know what was going on. He scored, and the Buffalo won the game. That was in the finals against Buffalo.
It's an unbelievable picture. Look at that. There's a story there, boy. You can't
you
even
know,
see the
but-
net. You can't see the ground. You can't
Yeah.
even see your skates.
But you look at the picture, the jersey, and you look at this, and you know what? Nothing but being grateful.
Be even tremendously more grateful because if I move my body this way, this is a picture that I have in my phone
Yeah, and
with
this
your
one
face on the
here,
cover of Time
Over
magazine.
shoulder, Time magazine. Here we go. And how about that? That's
It's unbelievable. Look at your eyes. You look evil.
Yeah.
War on ice.
But you know what? you know what I'm grateful for? The good old Lord put me at the right place at the right time
Yeah.
with the right players and the people in Philly were just incredible. The crowd we had was just gave us so much energy and power, it was difficult to lose at home.
What's it like to actually go from team to team? I mean, was there any team that you missed the most, that you wished you were on the whole time? You went on a bunch of different teams.
Well, I played for Boston,
Right?
Toronto, and the Flyers.
Right. So which would have been your favorite team?
Well, of course, the Flyers.
Flyers.
You know, I'm grateful with Boston because that was my first year. I was 20 years old, so I'm grateful for Boston and the crowd in Boston. Then I went to Toronto. I'm grateful because that's how I really learned how to play goal with Charles Blount. Think about this. I didn't have anything to do with that stuff, you know. And we had a great crowd, you know, great people. And then I'm grateful for having played in Philly at the right time with the right team, the right players, and great leader in Bob Clark, you know, and the crowd, you know, that we had, which was just incredible.
What would you say would be like the greatest unfortunate thing to happen while you were playing? I mean, like getting hurt physically, like you're behind the goal, a bunch of guys hit you, run into you. I've seen a lot of messes where maybe 3-4 players all crash into the goalie at the same time. The net goes flying.
Well, they didn't crash with me too often because they knew my players were tough. And
Right.
somebody would give me a rough shot or whatever. He paid the price.
Mm-hmm.
So they stayed away from me, definitely. You know, and then one game, you know, it was an afternoon game, and my defenseman lost his balance, in front of the net, and the stick hit me in the eye, and that's when I skated off the ice and ended up in the hospital for 2 weeks. I was completely blind. Think about this, because it affected the left eye too at the same time.
Right.
And doctors every day would come in and they say the same thing. We have to wait. We have to wait. It was a scary time in my life. And one morning, the vision came back. Yeah, and then the doctor said, "You're on your way. Everything will be good."
And you went back.
Mm-hmm.
Get back in the game.
No, that was the end of my career. Yeah.
Because of that?
Oh yeah, sure. Because the left eye came back good, but the left eye was damaged, and I couldn't. They couldn't repair that now. But you know, when you look at from the beginning till the end, it's been a beautiful ride.
It's an unbelievable career.
Yeah.
Tell us
incredible
about
ride.
what it's like to win the Stanley Cup and have the audience losing their minds and millions of people watching, and how many people actually could come out on the ice and put their hands on the cup.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's incredible. You know, and we had the first year we had cars. Each individual had cars, and they didn't have barriers, you know, on the Broad Street. So all the cars got damaged because we had 2 million people, you know. Matter of fact, the one guy looks just like you. But anyway.
He knows a lot of people that look like me. He must have been on the Rangers. He's a Ranger.
So now the second year we had a float.
Right.
Okay. And then I got on the float. Same thing. Got on the float, and they said, "You're sitting in the front row." All right. I get the front row, and I don't know if you remember Frank Rizzo, the mayor of Philly at the time.
Oh, okay.
And great individual. And we're going through and we're waving and all that stuff. And Frank's looking up all the time. And I said, Frank, what are you looking up at? The people down here. He said, I'm looking for snipers. Really? I got up and sat in a different seat. Yeah. What a good band, though. What a great band. Yeah.
And now I see, of course, you got to tell us about the statue that I see on the internet. I haven't seen it in person. I'm going to have to go there. I would love to see it. Maybe get a picture with you standing in front of it. Where exactly is that located?
It's located just not far from right around the corner from the Wells Fargo. Yeah, and you know it's beautiful. It's with Bob Clark.
Bobby Clark.
Yeah, and we're standing. We're holding the Stanley Cup. Yeah.
Oh, I've seen the picture. I've never seen it in person.
And you look at this, and even every time I take some friends, look at it, and I touch it. Just touch it. is magic. It's magic. Yeah,
It is
beautiful.
magic.
So
It's going to be real magic if it touches your back. That would be scary.
Wow. I won't share
Don't
that.
say it.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people in this world get statues made of themselves? Few. Very few. And
Yeah,
you have
hey.
a statue of you. How did they even do it? Did they,
Well,
they
it
take
cost-
pictures? They size you up?
It cost me a few bucks, but I got it done.
I got to buy myself a statue now that I know the secret.
No, but they, you're right. They took a picture, and then build it up,
Yeah.
And holding a Stanley Cup. Once in a while, I take friends, and we stand next to it. We take pictures. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would like to do that myself, and I'd like to go see it. I know a lot of people could go see this if you're ever in the Philadelphia area. What's that?
It's in front of Xfinity Live.
It's in front of Xfinity Live.
Yeah.
That's incredible. How big is it? It's gigantic, isn't it?
Statue?
The statue, yeah.
About, I don't know, I'd say about maybe 7 feet, 8 feet. Yeah.
Incredible. Not that many people actually get statues of themselves.
And
we're
we have
here.
our equipment on and the whole bit. It's awesome. Beautiful. And the Stanley Cup, of course.
You had a mask in here somewhere. Where's the mask? I can't look. I can't. I got hurt playing hockey. Let me grab this.
Yeah.
Look at that. Isn't it beautiful? Almost
Hey.
looks like a skeleton.
Look, I haven't changed one bit. Huh?
How many times people even ask you to put on a mask to take a picture? I don't know. Does that ever happen?
It did, but I don't.
Very
do it
few people. Let me
anymore.
say this too.
Before
because-
you're going to ask me, I don't do it anymore.
Yeah, you don't
Just
put the
kidding,
mask on
yeah.
for pictures. Look at this mask. This is.
Isn't that cool? Mommy, put it on.
No,
Let me
no.
Put it on.
You can if you want to.
Yeah, sure. Come
All right.
on. There you go.
I like this little stand. This is like very Greek mythology.
Yeah. All right, folks. There we go. Da-da, da-da, da-da.
There's a photo
There
finish.
you go. Yes, and look. And we
Put
got
him in the
Stanley
camera.
Cup
Put him in
rings,
the
yeah.
camera. There you go. There you go.
There you go.
Boy, I bet you that teacher's really eating crow now.
Isn't that cool?
It is really cool.
Yeah.
And that looks just like the cover on Time magazine.
Yeah.
That must be an incredible feeling too. For
Oh,
that
you know
Time
what?
magazine reached out to you and said,
Yeah.
"Okay, we're going to do a story," and
Let me tell you a little story about this with the mask. We're playing in Toronto. I was with the Flyers, right? And they had to get a better mask. And it was before practice. So guys in the dressing room, and I'm in a training room. So laying down, and they're putting the plaster and the whole bit. And then every once in a while, the player would come in, pull it off. So they had to redo the whole thing again.
oh, really?
Oh yeah, God, that was funny for about a half hour, and finally it settled down, and that's what came out. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
Yep. It
It's
was
absolutely
designed, by
fantastic.
the way, this was designed by the NASA, and the reason I'm saying this is because wherever you get hit with the shot, it ricochets instead of getting the full
really?
full blow.
I would assume hockey masks have evolved from what might have been almost barbaric a long time ago to what they're all wearing now. Seems like they got more equipment than they ever
It's
did.
it's more like a catcher mask.
Yeah.
They wear now, and I think what's happening, they have a better protection as far as the impact is concerned.
Mm-hmm.
Because think about this: you get hit by a shot, 100 miles an hour. That's a big impact,
I can't even wrap my head around that puck comes flying at you that fast. Is anybody even realizing what we're talking about? We're talking about something that's this big.
Yeah.
I don't know how heavy a puck is. What could it be? A half a pound?
No,
A pound?
couple ounces.
Couple ounces. But in flight, at over 100 miles an hour, it
It
becomes
carries a lot
pretty
of weight.
heavy.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But you see this mask here, the way, you know, could tell people, the way it was designed, it's almost like, it's not almost, it is, it's designed to deflect more
Yeah.
than getting the full impact, you know. Yeah,
Did you ever get one that hit the mask while you were playing?
look at me. I guess the answer is yes, right?
That's the first time I've been at a loss for words. Look at me. I've eaten that puck without the mask.
Yeah.
And I chewed it like tobacco and spit it out.
Yeah.
This is one of the greatest. I can't wait to put
Yeah,
this
that's
on.
right.
Nice bright orange
Yeah.
with Bernie's face right there.
Just
Look at
don't-
that vintage.
Yeah. You know what? And they're nice and warm.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
This is great material. And there's one with a collar.
Yeah.
This is really nice as well. This looks like you're an official or a coach.
Then here you have
The blessing.
only the Lord says more. And here with the front.
I like this. And all of this stuff they can
Yeah.
purchase at BernieParent.com. Is that what it is? BernieParent.com. Pick up yourself some swag, ladies and gentlemen. You can be tough and cool and wear one of these. I'm going to do it right now. Let's see if I can't get this on. I know I can't get the original one on that I wore when I was 8. But I'm going to have him autograph it, and I'm going to sell it for $40,000 because he only wants a $5,000 commission.
Sure.
See how
Yeah.
I remember all this
Well,
stuff?
hey.
I never forget anything.
No, but
If you have a mask out there,
life has changed.
you ain't kidding.
Look at this.
Oh, I love this so much. This is a photo finish. Look at us, ladies and gentlemen.
No, you know what?
Wait a minute now.
Look,
I'm going to make your
no,
school
hold
teacher
on.
really wish he was me.
let me get a little finger.
Yeah, I got fat fingers.
Close your hand. There you go. And that show the rings.
There you go.
Thank you, Lord.
Thank you. I don't think we can end this podcast any better than we just did. This is fantastic. I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, I'm the luckiest guy in the world because I get to interview some of the coolest people, and this is my first athlete on my show, and I can't thank you enough for allowing me to come to your friend's house and your house and come to my show
Excuse me a
and hang
second.
out.
As he's talking, can I have my
Oh.
ring back?
Hey, I'm supposed to be the comedian in this show.
Hey, give me 5.
Ladies and gentlemen,
I love you.
I love you too. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Love
The
everybody.
legend himself, Bernie Parent, right here on Live from my mother's basement. Hope you guys will keep on watching my show. You can watch us on YouTube exclusively these days, which is Mike Marino Live on YouTube. And you can listen to me on Spotify and all the podcast applications. You can look up Bernie Parent at BernieParent.com. We got to get going. I want to thank my producer, Tatiana Bluchel, for always making sure we have a great podcast and a great guest. Remember, let's make America Italian again. The motto is going to be, you don't know nothing, you don't see nothing, you don't
Hey.
say nothing.
Hey, CC.
CC, I don't know what
Yeah,
that means.
Italian.
Oh,
Yeah.
we're going to have a French guy in the White House somehow. Nothing like a Canadian running the United States.
Oh, God.
Remember,
You're the best.
and we always end my podcast by saying the same thing with my special guest. It's don't take no shit from nobody. You
That's
ready?
it. Yeah.
Here we go.
Definitely.
Say it. Say it with me. Don't take
Don't
no
take
shit.
no shit from anybody.
He said anybody. We said nobody. He's okay because he's from Canada and I'm
Yeah.
from the United States.
Yeah.
Bye, everybody.
It's the same.
Thank you so much for watching. Hey, folks, I hope you're enjoying watching my podcast live from my mother's basement. We're having a lot of fun, and I'm going to have a lot of great guests on the show in the future. So if you like it, hit like. You could also leave a comment. You could subscribe to my YouTube channel and watch other funny videos. And you could also listen to my podcast on your favorite podcast app like Spotify and iTunes.